Hare Krishna. I commend you for coming today on this nice, cool day. It's amazing, huh? This global warming. Do we have a drummer? Cartels? Actually, I have some cartels. You have? Okay. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Yasodanandana Rajajanna Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajanna Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Mana Chari Jaya Madhava Nabihari Jaya Madhava Nabihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Jamnatira Vana Chari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Go, Premanandi. Actually, I don't even need it. Just give me a Bhagavad Gita. There, he's got it. Okay. We got it. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday program here. We're going to have a little discussion about Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I don't even need this thing. You can move that. So we're going to read from the second chapter. I got a question for you. Who knows how many verses Krishna spoke in the first chapter? Anybody know? No. 42 verses Krishna spoke in the first chapter. 0. There you go. 0. And the first verse that Krishna spoke in the Bhagavad Gita was in the second chapter, text 2. And it's interesting, the first verse or the first sentence Krishna spoke was a question to Arjuna. He says, Kutas tva kashvan idham. How have these impurities come upon you? He speaks to Arjuna. Now Arjuna, he's a pure soul, pure devotee, but he's playing the role of a conditioned soul. He's an actor, and he's good. So this is a drama, this is a dialogue drama between Krishna and Arjuna. And Krishna, so he asks him that. Then he says, they are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. In other words, the impurities are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. So, Arjuna, he's a pure devotee, playing the role of a conditioned soul. And like I said, he's very pure. Now there's many things that we consider to be pure in this world. Pure water, pure air, pure food, and pure consciousness. Now sometimes, I mentioned also just a couple nights ago, we were given a program. The water sometimes becomes impure, but it can be purified. There's water purifiers. And air can be purified as well. I lived in Los Angeles for many years, back in the 70s, and the smog was so bad. It was horrible. But then they got these smog devices. So it purified the air. Of course, still it's dirty, but it's better than it was. But there's ways to purify air. And we all like pure food. Therefore, it's a big industry now, multi-billion-dollar industry is organic food. People like organic food. They don't like to have all these pesticides on the food. Yeah. So, what is most important is to have pure consciousness. Pure consciousness. And consciousness can also get purified. The Bhagavad Gita is a consciousness purifier. If you read Bhagavad Gita regularly, you're going to find yourself being transformed into one who has pure consciousness. It's a nice transformation from impure consciousness to pure consciousness. So how is that? Because Krishna, he's speaking Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna has the purest consciousness. He's very pure. And the proof of that is that millions of people have read Bhagavad Gita regularly, and their consciousness has become purified. This is the proof. Yeah. So whatever he speaks is pure, absolute. He doesn't make mistakes. Just like we have these flaws, imperfect senses, make mistakes, tendency to cheat, and tendency to be an illusion. That's our flaws as a conditioned soul. Krishna doesn't have these flaws. And the more we come in contact with Krishna, we also become free of these flaws and get purified. And when we're completely pure, then we're completely happy. Everybody wants happiness. Confirmed. Yeah. We all want happiness. That's the nature of the soul. Eternality, knowledge, and bliss. So we all want to be eternal also. Nobody wants to die. We want knowledge, therefore so many universities, people getting knowledge. So this is the nature of the soul. So the next part of this verse, Krishna, he says, they are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. So what is value? What is of value in this? What do you think what is very valuable in this world? What do you think people think is very valuable in this world? Huh? Money. Yes. If you go to a graveyard, you shout money, the person in the graveyard will jump and say, money? Money? Money is the honey, yeah, right? You have money, you can get so many things that bring so-called happiness. Yeah, that's a big attractive feature in the material world. What else?
Big house.
Big house, yeah. People like to have a big house. What else? Beauty, yes. But a very attractive type of beauty is to have beautiful consciousness. When Prabhupada went to New York City in 1965, there was an unwritten rule: don't trust anyone over 30. That was the old generation. Prabhupada shows up. He's 70. Twice that age. More than twice that. And the youth are giving their life to him. He had beautiful consciousness, a beautiful mind, pure heart. I'll tell you a nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada. He was a very special soul who lived amongst us, fortunately. He was in India, 1970. This is after he had been in America for 5 years. Then he went back to India to spread this message also in India. But he didn't go alone. He went with 30 dancing white elephants. The Americans and Europeans went there with him, and in India, to see an elephant dance is very rare, right? You can imagine. Well, to speak of a white elephant. So the Americans and Europeans probably call them dancing white elephants. It's a real amazing thing to see. So they were traveling around India, and Prabhupada was speaking at many programs and gatherings, and so he went to. He was in Bombay, and Giriraj Swami, he was a brahmachari at the time. He was living there in Bombay, and Giriraj is the only son of a judge, a wealthy judge, and he had already joined the Hare Krishna movement, and that was tough in itself for his son to join the Hare Krishna movement. But now he's also on the other side of the planet, and that's like too much. So he decided to go to Bombay and try to convince him to go back to America. So Giriraj Brahmachari, at the time, he got his flight information, picked him up, him and his mother, and immediately the father was trying to convince him into going back to America. And he said, no, I like it here. And so he thought, okay, all right. And then he said, can I have a discussion with your guru? I said, yeah. So we had arranged a meeting with Prabhupada, his parents. He was there, and also Prabhupada's servant was there. So his father said, this disciple of yours, he's our only son. And he's here on the other side of the planet, and this is difficult for myself and my wife here. Can you ask him to go back to America? So Prabhupada asked Giriraj, do you want to go back to America? And Giriraj said, no, I want to stay here. And Prabhupada said to the father, you don't want me to force him, do you? He said, no. Because there's a saying here, a person forced against his will is of the same opinion still. So he figured if he went back, he would come back again anyway. So he understood, he's going to stay. So Prabhupada then said to Giriraj, why don't you take your parents to Nepal, Kathmandu, spend a week with them, give them some time. And he said, yes, I can do that. So the parents are very happy. They went to Nepal and spent some time there. And then they came back to Bombay, and they were at the temple there, and then Giriraj wanted them to spend a little more time with Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is very special, very pure. Just to spend a little time with Prabhupada is very purifying. Just like reading Bhagavad Gita, it's very purifying. Just associating with a pure devotee is very purifying. So they spent about an hour talking. And Prabhupada, he was, one thing is that he was a very kind and also very humorous. He was joking a lot with the father. So when he left, he was very happy. So the servant of Prabhupada, after they had left, he said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you amaze me. Everybody loves you so much. And Prabhupada said, that's because I love everyone so much. That's why this movement spread all over the world, because it's very pure, very kind-hearted. So, by practicing the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, this is what happens. We become kind-hearted, we become pure. We get knowledge of the absolute truth. The beginning of this verse, Krishna says, or it said, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan, actually this is the first time where you also will find this word Bhagavan. You'll see the Bhagavan word there in the Bhagavad Gita in many places. But this is the first place where you see it. And Bhagavan means he who has 6 opulences. This is God. Beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation, and knowledge. These are the opulences of God. He's very beautiful. Everything about Krishna is very beautiful. He's very attractive. He has a form. Some people have a misunderstanding that God doesn't have a form, because they think that if God has a form, then he'll be like us, who have so many mistakes. This is called anthropomorphism. No, he has a form, but not like ours. He has a spiritual form that doesn't get old. It doesn't get diseased. No anxiety. Actually, this is a word for the spiritual world. Vaikuntha, no anxiety. This world is called Kunta, so much anxiety. So Krishna is very attractive. Many people, they put jewelry on their bodies to make the body look more attractive. Earrings, nose rings, all kinds of things now they put on their bodies. Unimaginable. But when you put jewelry on Krishna, they don't make Krishna's body look more attractive. Krishna makes the jewelry look more attractive. Very attractive. And anybody who sees Krishna is attracted to his beauty. So beauty, knowledge. Krishna is so knowledgeable. Just like the Bhagavad Gita here, he spoke it 5,000 years ago. And still, it's read in universities all around the world. It's been translated into practically all the languages of the world. It's 5,000 years old. Not many books make it 5,000 years, right? I mean, how many? The Bible. That's it, the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita, nothing else. And it's still being read. And people are trying to understand the deep meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. But it's not easy. Only a devotee can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakacheti to Arjuna. Because you're a devotee, you're able to understand the transcendental mystery of this Bhagavad Gita. So then one might ask, well, how do you become a devotee? You have to desire to be a devotee. Man proposes, God disposes. If you want to be a devotee of Krishna, He'll make all types of arrangements so that you could become a devotee. But we have to have this desire to understand the truth. I was speaking to a student in Florida many years ago. My main activity is I distribute books. And this person I was speaking to, he was an atheist. And I said, well, you know, just because you can't see God doesn't mean He doesn't exist. There's so many things that we don't see, that we know exist. For instance, between us there's air. No one has ever seen air. Interesting, huh? It's right in front of us, but we can't see it. Nobody has ever seen a thought. How many of us have thoughts? We all have thoughts. Nobody has ever seen a thought. How about time? No one's ever seen time. Things that we are accustomed to every day, you can't see. Many things that we can't see, we're accustomed to, living with every day. And I mentioned to her that even the atom, no one has ever seen the atom. And he agreed. Then I said, but there is a process by which one can understand the atom exists. In science, there's a process by which one can understand the atom exists. So I said, similarly, there is a process by which you can understand God exists. And that's called sadhana bhakti. That's what many of us are practicing. Sadhana bhakti. The activities of devotional service. One cannot understand Krishna with our material senses. Atashu Krishna namadi nabhaved grayamindriya sevan mukhi jivada swayam evisparatida. But when Krishna becomes pleased with us by our service to Him, then He reveals Himself. We can't barge into the kingdom of God. No, it's by humility, by devotion, that Krishna reveals Himself. Actually, humility is the crown jewel of devotional service. Humility is so important. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, Chanadapi sunichena turorapi sahistana amanina mananena kirtaniya sadhari. Once you chant the holy name in a humble state of mind, think of oneself lower than the straw on the street, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others without desiring respect for oneself. In this way, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. And Krishna reveals Himself to such a person. I asked one sannyasi a question in regard to this verse. You know, it says that he's more tolerant than a tree. So I said to this sannyasi means a very advanced devotee. So I said, if the tree could talk, it might complain. It might protest. Hey, why are you carving your initials in me? How would you like me to carve my initials in you? Stop carving on me. If he could talk, but he can't talk. So why is he more tolerant than a tree? Tree can't talk. Therefore, this devotee gave a very good answer. He said, therefore, a devotee is more tolerant than a tree because he can protest, he can complain, but he doesn't. He tolerates. Very good answer. So a devotee is tolerant, humble. These are divine qualities which attract Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, we should not try to see God. Don't try to see God. Try to act in such a way that God wants to see you. So that's called devotional service. If we engage in devotional service to Krishna, He's very pleased. And service is the most congenial way to please that person who we have affection for. The most pleasing way to show our affection is by service. Just like if you have a love for someone, you ask them, is there anything I can do for you? It's a very common thing. You want to please, you want to do some service. If you love someone, you want to do some service for them. Isn't it? It's very common. Now what's interesting here in the Bhagavad Gita is, believe it or not, I mean, it's a book of wisdom, it's a book that's meant to bring about peace, but it begins in chapter 1 where Arjuna is trying to avoid the war. Krishna wanted this war to stop the evil-minded Duryodhana and company. He wanted Yudhisthira to be the king. Yudhisthira was such a saint. He never told a lie. He's famous as one who never told a lie. Such a wonderful, wonderful devotee. Krishna wanted him to be the king. But in this battle, Arjuna had to fight against people who were very dear to him. Somehow, they were on the wrong side. So the biggest difficulty that Arjuna had, that he was facing, was that he had to fight people whom he loved throughout his whole life, practically. Bhishma is his grandfather. Krishna wanted him to fight against Bhishma and kill him. Now, just to give you an idea of how difficult that would be, I'm going to say something to you that is very difficult for me to even say from my mouth. Imagine if your spiritual master told you to kill Prabhupada. Huh? Just to hear that is like, isn't it? Because there's so much love for Prabhupada. Just to hear that is like, oh my God, don't even say that. This is to give you an idea of what Arjuna was asked to do. Because Arjuna had that love, that amount of love for Bhishma. So you can imagine what he was facing. And Dronacharya, same. He's his teacher. He taught him everything he knew about archery, about fighting. He had so much love for Dronacharya. But he was being asked to kill Dronacharya. So now you get an idea of how intense this conversation is. Krishna's trying to convince him. You have to fight. For some reason, he's on the wrong side. Because Bhishma and Dronacharya, they were being taken care of financially by Duryodhana for years, for decades. So they couldn't turn against him when a war comes. They had to fight for him. But they're all warriors. So one of the first things that Krishna taught to Arjuna is that you're lamenting for something that wise people don't lament over. And that is the body. the body is going to die. Whether he dies now or he dies later, the body is going to die. All of our bodies are going to die. Actually, right now, our bodies are dying. At every second, the body is getting closer to death. That means it's dying, even the young boys. Right? And eventually, we have to leave this body. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, great Acharya, he says, he's such an amazing writer, he says, "The flesh is not my own, alas, the mortal frame a chain. The soul confined for former wrong should try to rise again. Why then this childish play in that which is not our own, which falls within 100 years, as if a rose a blown?" So this body's gonna fall. But we can rise. Before that happens, we can rise in our spiritual life, so we don't have to go through this again. This is called the samsara, the cycle of birth and death. If we can become pure in this lifetime, we don't have to go through this again. We can go back to the spiritual world. That's our real home. This isn't our home. And therefore, many of us feel uncomfortable. Prabhupada actually said the soul is embarrassed to be in the material body. Because I mentioned earlier that the soul's nature is eternality, knowledge, and bliss. But we're stuck in these bodies that are temporary, so much ignorance and so much unhappiness. So it's an embarrassing situation for the soul. So the goal of the human form of life is to become pure again and get out, to get out of this cycle, this unfortunate cycle of birth and death. So I mentioned to you beauty, knowledge, strength. Krishna is very strong. He is known as Satya Sankalpa, that whatever he wants, it just happens. Just like here, and I don't know if many of you know, but Vaisheshika Prabhu, our fearless leader here in ISV, he wants to get a very nice project going here, a temple and a restaurant and a theater and brahmacharya ashram. He's got big plans. But for us to do that, it's a big endeavor. But for Krishna, he could do it in a second, exactly the way we want it. He creates everything. Planets, universes, just by his desire. It's very strong. Just like this planet. How many tons do you think this planet weighs? Probably millions. It's heavy. There's no way to weigh it. But it just floats around. It's just floating around the universe. All these planets, so many planets just floating around. It's amazing. Huge planets just floating around the atmosphere. This the strength of God, just by his desire. So beauty, wealth, strength, fame. People like to be famous. Yeah? People like to be movie stars or musicians to get some name, some fame. Right? Very common. No one is more famous than God. Everybody has heard of God. Srila Prabhupada, he wanted the name Krishna to be a household word. He wanted everybody to know about Krishna. Because he is very Krishna conscious. He is very happy chanting Hare Krishna and serving Krishna. So he wanted everybody to be happy. This is the nature of a devotee. He wants to see everybody happy. Sarva Sukhino Bhavantu. This is our mission statement. That everybody in the world become happy. What a nice mission. So Prabhupada wanted everybody to hear about Krishna. Household word. Amazing thing happened many years ago, maybe in the 70s, late 70s. One little girl who was a daughter of a devotee, a senior devotee, his name is Balavanta, who was one of our GBC members. This little girl, maybe 8 years old, she was watching television, and she saw Bugs Bunny chanting Hare Krishna. So she ran into her father and said, Pita, Bugs Bunny's chanting Hare Krishna. He said, what? He went in there, and Bugs Bunny, he's rowing a boat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Do people know Bugs Bunny in India also? Yeah. So you can't get more household than that. Got Bugs Bunny chanting Hare Krishna. So this devotee was very happy to see Bugs chanting Hare Krishna. Because the name Krishna and Krishna are non-different. Just by chanting the name of Krishna, we come in contact with Krishna. We get purified. So beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation, this is another attractive thing in this world. Just like sometimes very wealthy people, they give away large amounts of money in charity. And people appreciate that. So Krishna, he lives very simply. He's a cowherd boy. Lives very simply. He doesn't live in a big mansion. But he's very renounced. So by coming in contact with Krishna, we also become renounced. It's like there's one friend of mine, his name is Alfred Ford, who was the grandson of Henry Ford. He said to me one time, he said, Vijaya, I don't want to be rich in my next life. So wow, why is that? He said, because when you're rich, everyone is your friend. Because everybody likes money. Right? So he's very renounced. He gave up. He gave so much of his money to build temples and to do various services in our society. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that Srila Prabhupada says is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Mat karma krin mat parama mad bhakta sangavardya nirvaira sarabhutesu yasamamit pandava. He says, one who works for me, mat karma krin mat parama, who understands me to be the supreme, mad bhakta, who engages in my devotional service, who is free of mental speculation and fruitive activities, and who is a friend to all living entities, such a person, he comes to me. So we all are doing some type of work, right? I was curious about this, the wealthiest person in the world. What's his name? Musk, yeah, Elon Musk. So I just looked it up, what's his daily activities, just to see. Now here's a person, he's got over $250 billion. So I just curious, what is his daily activities? He works between 80 and 100 hours a week. He's got more money than you can possibly spend, but he works like 10, 12 hours a day. Unimaginable, right? Here he is, he's got everything, but still he works. That's the nature of this. We have to do something. So to work for Krishna is the best thing that we can do. Now one may ask, well, how do you work for Krishna? What is a service you can do for Krishna? Well, what we're doing right here is mentioned as the best that we can do. The best work that we could do, and this is like a subtle work. We're working with our mind. Yeah? Subtle. To chant the names of Krishna, this is another type of service. To read Bhagavad Gita. And practically, we have our head pujari here. He works here daily, taking care of the deities and making sure when we come in, everything is nice and tidy. Sometimes he opens the door for me in the morning. Door's locked, he'll open it for me. So we're all doing some service. Some people, they have a job, you're working. So what can they do? What service? They give donations to the temple. My service is I go out and I distribute books to people that have never heard of Krishna. I go all over the world. I've been to 60 countries so far, distributing books all over the world, trying to increase wisdom. This is what is most lacked. The most needed thing in the world is wisdom. So that's actually the most important activity in our society, is giving this knowledge to people throughout the world. And this temple here in Silicon Valley, this is the #1 temple in the whole Western Hemisphere. Haribol. And this is all being guided by Vaisesika Prabhu, who was a big book distributor before. He still distributes books. Now he inspires book distribution more. So there's so many ways that we can work for Krishna. So Makarmakar Mat Parama, Krishna is the supreme. We're not supreme. Sometimes our ego gets a little big and we think that I'm the greatest. Just like there was that one boxer, I am the greatest. Then he had a stroke. Actually, he was very favorable. Muhammad Ali, he was very favorable to Krishna consciousness. He had one of his best friends was a Hare Krishna devotee. He was very religious, God conscious. Yeah. So this ego, people think that very, very big, important. I was distributing books one time and I asked one person, so what kind of work do you do? And he said, well, I'm God. Oh, big position you have there. I said, well, you know, one of the characteristics of God is that He knows everything. Can you tell me what I'm thinking? He said, yes, you're thinking, I'm a rascal. I said, very good, you're right. But I was also thinking of a number. Can you tell me the number? No. So there's the cheated and there's the cheaters. Some people want to cheat, some people want to get cheated. Just like there's this one spiritual movement where you buy a mantra. They sell mantras. See, in the West, we're a little naive. You know, we don't know that you don't buy mantras, right? But never heard of in India, right? You don't sell mantras. But in America, everything is about the money, right? So this guru had a brilliant idea: sell mantras. So, you know, they give some little spiritual guidance. You know. So I also got suckered into buying my mantra. This is back in the 70s. I bought my mantra for $120. Yeah. Now it costs $1,500. Yeah. Inflation. Yeah. So Prabhupada said, if I wanted to, I could have become so wealthy because they're selling their mantras $60. Now it's $750 for one syllable. One syllable. 2 syllables, 1,500. Prabhupada said, I have 32 syllables in my mantra. Hare Krishna mantra has 32 syllables. I could have made so much money. But he said, I haven't come here to cheat you. I've come here to give Krishna, to give you happiness, to give love. So there's a little time left. Maybe we'll open this up for some discussion. Anybody have any question or comment? Generally, people are shy. Who wants to open this up for questions? Okay, here we go.
Hare Krishna. You mentioned you've traveled all over the world, 60 countries, I believe, distributing books to everyone. Was there any particular instruction that Prabhupada that you heard that you found most practical in allowing you to meet different people and distribute books to them?
Thank you. Well, when I got the Bhagavad Gita, I couldn't put it down. I read it in 5 days. It was the most wonderful thing I'd ever come across in my life. So it's natural, you get something nice, you want to share it with others. So I felt that. And when I came to the temple, I heard about book distribution. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to share something that has touched my heart so much and transformed my life in such a nice way. So I wanted to share it, and I want to continue sharing. And actually Prabhupada said, he said, if you distribute books to your last breath, I guarantee you, Lord Chaitanya will come and he'll take you back to Godhead. So when I heard that, I thought, all right, that's it. I'm going to distribute books to my last breath, to the point where it's impossible to continue anymore. I'll continue until I can't continue anymore, with Prabhupada's mercy. It's what is most needed. And so many lives have changed. So many lives have changed by this, by giving this knowledge out to people. People that were on the verge of suicide. There's one interesting story of a lady in her home. She was in her house, and one devotee went to distribute books to her. And he knocked on the door, and there was no answer. But somehow he just by intuition, he could understand there's someone there, but they're not answering. So he knocked again. No answer. Knocked again. And finally the lady came to the door. She opened the door, and he put his foot in between the door and the wall, so she couldn't close the door. And then he handed her the Bhagavad Gita. And she said, oh my, the Bhagavad Gita. I can't believe you're offering the Bhagavad Gita to me right now. See, when he opened the door, she said, what do you want? I'm busy. Don't bother me. And she said, you know what I was busy doing? And then she opened the door. She pushed the door open, and there was a chair there with a noose. She was just getting ready to hang herself. And he came just at that moment, and she got the Bhagavad Gita. And she started crying. And she said, this is going to change my life. She said, I'm not going to commit suicide now. I'm going to sit and I'm going to read Bhagavad Gita. So many amazing stories. I wrote a book, actually, called the Brihat Mridanga, filled with wonderful stories of devotees who have had their life changed by this knowledge. How many of you have the book? Oh, look at that. Practically everybody's got it. That's pretty good. You like? Yeah? Any other question? Yes, Babu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you mentioned that there's one thing this world is lacking the most, which is wisdom. So I was thinking, if we go out and talk to people, my neighbors or co-workers or anybody and everybody on the street, or I don't know, I know, doesn't matter, but if we talk to them and there's a series of things that are lined up in their life. Oh, I got to pick up my son from the basketball training, and then after that I have to drop my daughter to taekwondo class, and then I have to dial an evening meeting, and then this and that everything. So, and I'm happy with my life. So what wisdom are you talking about? I mean, am I looking happy to you? Right? I have a family, my wife, and kids who are playing and growing in the school and doing well in their life. I have a job. What else wisdom do I need?
Yes. Many times when I'm distributing books, they'll say, no, I'm good. And I tell them, but you can be better. And quite a few times they said, actually, you're right. Yeah, I could. What do you got? Then show me what you got. And then they take a book. So, yeah, this is called Maya Sukhaya. There's illusory happiness. People say, yeah, I'm good. I have my family, I have my children. But at any moment, anything can happen. Yeah. They're called, just like we have earthquakes, there's life quakes. Many people have traumatic life quakes. And it just completely turns their life around. Why? How did this happen? I'll tell you an amazing story of this lady. She was in the movement for many, many years, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And she was a book distributor for many years. And due to circumstances, for whatever reason, she left Krishna consciousness. She left the movement and she went out and to material life again. And she got married to a man. And they were married for many years. And they were driving here in California. And they were, doing 70 miles an hour or so, and they got in an accident, and the car is rolling. And she's chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. She's chanting loudly, non-stop, as the car is rolling. And then the car stopped. And she looked at her husband, she said, are we alive? He said, yeah, I think so. And they were like, no problem, nothing. And he said to her, what were you chanting? What were you, you were shouting something. What was that? And she said, oh, I never told you, but I used to be a Hare Krishna. And he just saved our life. And he said, well, tell me more. So then she picked up Krishna consciousness again, became a devotee again. He also became a devotee. And they both went on distributing books. That was called a life quake. Sometimes these life quakes are good. I also went through a life quake. And it was good. It brought me to the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Actually, I'm here. Actually, I live here in Silicon Valley now, by Krishna's mercy. I always wanted to come up here and work under Vaisheshika Prabhu, but there was no brahmacharya ashram here, so it wasn't possible. But then the COVID-19 happened. I used to live in Los Angeles. I lived there for 30 years. But the temple president there didn't want anybody to come that wasn't a full-time. I was in India at the time. So I came from India right when the COVID started, and he said, I'm sorry, we're only allowing people that are full-time here. So I went somewhere else, a friend's home. And then he was stuck in India because at one point during the COVID-19, no one could leave India. So he was stuck for a few months. So I was staying at his house. And then he came back. And then I went to San Diego. I stayed in San Diego temple for 3.5 years. And then that didn't work out. So I thought, where to go? Then I heard there's a men's ashram here. It's not a brahmacharya ashram, it's a men's ashram, but good enough. Yeah. So then I called Vaisheshika and he said, yeah, come on up. So because of the COVID-19, that was a life quake for many people. I'm here, I'm living here now by Krishna's mercy. COVID-19 mercy. So I'm sure many things happen with COVID-19 that actually enhance people's lives. You know. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm sure there's many. So, reversals are sometimes very good. Yeah. And sometimes we get no's. Like you were mentioning, we get no. Or on book distribution, you get many no's. People say, no, I'm not interested. But those are also good because we develop tolerance. And tolerance is a very important quality. So we thank people. When people say no, very good, thank you. Because they're helping us to develop tolerance. It's good. Yeah. And compassion. People are suffering. People are suffering. And they don't know they're suffering. I was speaking to one person, and he came up and he said, my life is great. I'm just doing wonderful. I said, well, that's fantastic. Yeah, here, let me show this book here. So I showed him the Bhagavad Gita, and after showing it to him, he said, yeah, okay, this will be interesting. And then he said, do you think it'll help me in my life? I'm going through some pretty difficult times. So I was like, oh, wait a second, you just said you're having a great time. So this is Maya Sukaya, illusory happiness. Maya creates this illusion that life is good, I'm good. But there's a lot of suffering. Yeah. Just like now we have this, we're having this heat wave. Most unusual. First time ever in October, 6th. I think it's a record ever, huh? That's ever been so hot at this time. So it's uncomfortable if we have these fans. And then it's going to get cold. It's going to be uncomfortable again. So this material world, it's a place of suffering. Like I mentioned about the earthquake. They had that big earthquake. I think it was the biggest earthquake ever recorded in American history that we know of, recorded history. So many people died. Yeah. And now we just had this hurricane, Helena, hurricane. So many people died. There's earthquakes, hurricanes. So many ways people are suffering. Material world is not a nice place. It's not a nice place. But there is a nice place. Spiritual world. Yes, Prabhu, we have a question here.
Hare Krishna. So earlier in your lecture, you said that this is not the natural state of our souls, like having bodies.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get to Krishna consciousness, and our soul is embarrassed that it is in this state. And it's stuck in the cycle, right? How did the soul, so the goal is to get out of the cycle, how did the soul end up in the cycle? Or like start off in the cycle?
The common question. If the spiritual world is so nice, why are we here? Well, in the spiritual world, Krishna, he's the center. It's not that he's egotistic or anything. He's just, he happens to be God. He's the center. So at one point we thought, well, I'd like to be in that position, but in the spiritual world there's only one supreme God. But there is a place where we can try to be God. That's here. We can try to be God here. Good luck. In Shakespeare he says, I'm paraphrasing, he says, the whole world is a stage and everyone is thinking, I'm the main actor on the stage. So with this ego, we walk around thinking that like I mentioned earlier, I'm something great. Like that person I met, I'm God. People think. There's probably, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people that think they're God. There's spiritual leaders that tell people, you're God. Why are you worshiping God? You're God yourself. They teach like that, isn't it? So, no. God never dies. He doesn't get old. You never see pictures of Krishna with gray hair, wrinkled skin. No. He never gets old, never gets disease. No anxiety. So that's why we're here. So now we got to realize we're not God. Krishna's God. And we have to submit to Him. We have to serve Him. And by serving Krishna, then we'll be happy. Then we'll be satisfied. And the happiness that one achieves by serving Krishna is your happiness is ever increasing. The nature of this world is the happiness. You may experience some happiness. I'll give you an example. I have one friend, he was going to USC, University of Southern California, nice school. So I met him when he was first going there, when he first enrolled. He was there for maybe a couple weeks. He said, oh yeah, this school is great. I just love it, man. It's wonderful, nice campus and nice students. This is great. And then I saw him 4 years later, just before he graduated. He said, I can't stand this place. I can't wait to get out of here. So that's the nature of this world. It's nice in the beginning, and then after a while it gets old. The happiness goes down. And therefore, unfortunately, there's a lot of divorce in this country. All over the world. Now in India also. It was illegal before. I think even 60 years ago it was illegal. Now there also. But in spiritual life, the happiness is always increasing. And that's what we want, right? We want happiness that's always increasing. That's what we all want. You won't find it in this world. But in the spiritual world, you'll find it. And therefore, Rupa Goswami says, I do not know how much nectar there is in the two syllables, Krishna. When I chant the name of Krishna, I desire to have many millions of tongues to chant the name, and millions of ears to hear the holy name. And when the holy name of Krishna enters into the courtyard of my heart, it stops the activities of my mind, and I experience unlimited happiness. Unlimited happiness. So here's someone who's experiencing that. And we can also. We just have to take this process very seriously. Okay? Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. What time is the kirtan? So we'd have some kirtan. We'll have some more kirtan. Yeah, you harmonium. So in 8 minutes we're going to have kirtan. So we'll have a little kirtan right now as well. Smaller table, yeah, smaller table. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Go! Now we'll have kirtan.
Hare Krishna. So please, now we'll have a kirtan. We can get up and put the asanas there. And His Grace Vishwapati Nityananda Prabhu will lead us into the kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirbishesha Shannavadi Paschatya Deshotarine. Jai Jai Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Lakshmi Nishingadev Bhagavan ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jai Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Gauranga, जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की गंगा माई जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories, Sisi Guru Gauranga, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. La 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 la.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll have short announcement, so please have a seat and then we'll head to Prasadam. So we'd like to thank you all for visiting the ISKCON of Silicon Valley on such a hot day. So let's give a big round of applause to everyone who has joined us tonight here. Hari Hari Bol! We'd also like to thank all our online viewers as well. So let's give them a big round of applause. Today's discourse and Krishna Katha from Bhagavad Gita was brought to us by His Grace Vijaya Prabhu. So let's express our gratitude and thank him. Hari Hari Bol! Hari Bol. And Kirtan was led by His Grace Vishwapati Nityananda Prabhu. So thank you, Hari Hari Bol. And Narsimha Arti was led by his daughter, Her Grace Rati Prada Mataji. Hari Hari Bol. So as you all know, she got just initiated last week. So that's her initiated name. So we have a couple of sponsorships, but before that, is anyone coming here for first time? Thank you. We have quite a few devotees here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us for the ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So if you have any questions or we could be of any assistance, please reach out to me. My name is Sri Gopal Das. And let's chant one Mahamantra for all our newcomers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have a couple of sponsors for tonight's Sunday feast. Ashok Kumar Prabhu, is he here? Ashok Kumar Prabhu. He is sponsoring on the occasion of his son's birthday. So let's thank him in his absentia for sponsoring tonight's feast. Hare Krishna. And the second sponsor is Shri Kumar Prabhu, His Grace Shri Kumar Prabhu and Her Grace Sundarilla Mataji are sponsoring on the behalf of Madhav's 14th birthday. That was on October 2nd. Hari Bol! Is Madhav here? Madhav, are you hiding? Please come. You just came. So how was your 14th birthday?
It was good.
What did you do?
I just went out to a restaurant.
Okay, excellent. Uddhav, come. Uddhav is his little brother. So Uddhav, what gift did you give to your big brother?
Drone.
Huh?
The drone.
The drone. Oh my God. Okay, that's from him. Okay, that it counts. It all counts. So Madhav, what brings you here to ISKCON of Silicon Valley? So what inspires you to come every week after week?
Sunday school and like the Prasadam.
Hari Bol. So let's give a big round of applause to, not applause, but let's thank Sri Kumar Prabhu and let's pray for Madhav to be in his spiritual journey, to advance in his spiritual journey. Hare Krishna. So I have a Mahaprasad for you, Madhav. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Ashok Prabhu Mataji, please come. Thank you for sponsoring tonight's feast. Is your son here?
No, he's not here.
Okay, would you like to say a few words?
Can you just bless him like that?
Okay, let's pray for Ashok Prabhu and your name, Mataji?
Monica.
Monica Mataji's son, and his name?
Shivansh.
Shivansh. So let's chant one mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to invoke all the auspiciousness in his life so that he can progress in the spiritual journey. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhu, for sponsoring the feast. Here is Prasad. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So now Arna will announce the cooks for tonight's feast. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today's Sunday feast was cooked by Sridhar Prabhu, Seema Mataji, Mahendra Prabhu, Nitai Kirtan Bihari Prabhu, Bhavika Manika Mataji, Deepshika Mataji, Vijita Mataji, Meghavi Mataji, Sanket Prabhu, Utkarsh Prabhu, Murnali Mataji, Abhijit Prabhu, Akash Prabhu, Tadya Seva Prabhu, Anil Prabhu, and Preeti Mataji. Today's lead cooks are Hansapriya Mataji, Nilachal Mataji, and Hari Sankirtan Prabhu.
Thank you. Now we will sing the Prasad Sevya prayers, and after that, the Prasad will be served outside. You can eat outside, or you can come and honor the Prasad here. Hare Krishna. Arjun, you would like to? Yeah.
Sharira Vidyaja Jorendriya tahe kal Jive fele vishaya sa gore Tar madhe jivayati Lobha moy sundunati Take jeta katina samsare Krishna vadodoyamo Kori bare jivaja Swaprasadanna dilobha Mahapurushade Govinde Namandane Vaishnave Satapunyavatam Rajan Vishvasena Vijayate Prashade Sarva Dukana Manirato Vijayate Prasanna Cheta Soyashu Buddhi Paryada Shishta Pitvayopa Pushta Shadganta Masulankara Chachita Kuchishta Bhojino Dasa Stavamayan Jayamahi Shuksham Payushitam Vapi Nitam Vavirajeshataha Pratimantrena Bhoktavyam Natrakala Vicharana Nadesha Niyamastatra Nakala Niyamastatra Praptam Manandrutam Shishtai Bhoktavyam Harivadhavi Bhagavad Shri Mahaprabhu